alone.
Well, of course, Advanced Nutrients is probably the most popular nutrient line, not only across the North American continent, but worldwide. It's really a fantastic product line. They have many different products that you can choose from. And LJ will be able to tell us about that because we've received his signal back again.
Hey, it sounds like we got him in the background. LJ, welcome to the Political Twist-Up Show.
Hey, man, so glad to be here. Good to see you or hear from you again, man. Had a good time with you guys in Cannabis Cup.
Hey, we can see on we can see him on camera
nice.
there.
LJ and I and all of our crew here got together in Denver at the High Times Cannabis Cup, where he was quite a popular gentleman. I saw him on several different news programs being interviewed.
Well, really, people got to ask LJ a lot of questions about Advanced Nutrients. What's the most popular question you get asked as an expert gardener, LJ?
You know what? It's I get asked a lot of stuff because we have a lot of different products. You know what I mean? We have stuff that's really revolutionary and it attacks a lot of different parts of the grow cycle. So it's hard to narrow it down to that. Like we've got one product called Bud Blood that will save a week generally off your flowering process. You can go from like 5-point-something flips a year up to like 6 flips a year. So I'll get asked about that, or which is your favorite base food, or how are your organics doing. A barrage of all of it, sir.
Well, we got a couple of questions for you coming in from our listening audience. Let's start with Alicia. Alicia, you're on the show with LJ from Advanced Nutrients, our Ask the Gardener segment.
How are you, Alicia?
Hi. Good. How are you?
Never had it so good.
So what's your question, Alicia?
Well, first I want to say hi to Ryan, Steve, and Rick. You guys are awesome. You do a great show. If I'm home, I watch every week.
Hey.
Thank you.
And you're welcome. And I'm a medical marijuana patient. I grow 12 plants. I use dirt, 1,000-watt bulbs. And I've heard a lot of people tell me that if I use a CO2 system, I can produce more bud.
Okay, so our questions about CO2, Alicia, Alicia, stand by. We're getting ready to go to break. Questions about CO2 to LJ. Coming back, it's the Multimedia Digital Network with the Political Twist-Up Show. The Political Twist-Up Show.
At Clio Cultivation, the things that really matter are the best customer service, lowest prices, and a friendlier atmosphere. We share knowledge that will increase your harvest and happiness. Recently, a grower reported double yields in 8 weeks by following our methods of the Garden Sage. We also guarantee the lowest prices on every product every day. When you are here, just smile. Bad days don't exist anymore. Now offering complete 1,000-watt systems for $179, 8-light T5s $189, 16-inch wall mount fans $33.95, Exhale CO2 bags $28, 8-inch Raptors $199, 1,000-watt ballast $89.95, 1,000-watt lamps start at $50, and Happy Frog and Ocean Forest lower than $13.95. Call for details at 810-686-GROW or visit 11394 North Saginaw Road. Weekdays 10 to 7, Saturday 10 to 5. At Clio Cultivation, we know to see it is to believe it.
The law offices of Targowski & Grow remind you to stand up for your rights. Always treat law enforcement with respect, but if you're detained or arrested, stand up for your rights by repeating, I respectfully invoke all of my legal and constitutional rights. I do not consent to any search or seizure. I want to remain silent, and I want to talk to my attorneys, John Targowski and Daniel Grow. Targowski & Grow have the education and experience you need to be successful in Michigan courts. Call Targowski & Grow toll-free, 800-957-1069. The law offices of Targowski & Grow, 800-957-1069.
Well, this formula is specifically to grow cannabis.
That's Ray Kogo for Kogo's Original Cannabis Formula Nutrients.
Now, everybody knows that large buds and tight buds come from genetics, and then the amount of light you use. The other part is having the correct nutrients that the plant's going to use. Mine specifically to grow cannabis, so it's going to get everything that it needs.
Ray knows what you may not. Those nutrient companies you can get in most grow shops are not cannabis specific. That means they take the stuff out of the bloom that your plant needs in bloom. You can get Kogo's Original Cannabis Formula Nutrients too. It's just 2 1-gallon jugs that make over 600 gallons of nutrients, all for less than $100. See the difference for yourself.
More trichomes, bigger buds, faster growth, and for less money.
Go to CANNABIS formula.com. or call Ray Direct at 517-375-8998. That's 517-375-8998. Kogo's original cannabis formula nutrients.
Get everything you need at Hydrovision Indoor Gardening Centers. It's spring, and it's time you get to planting. And whether you're starting plants indoors for the outdoor season or just making your house more green, the technical experts at Hydrovision stores will help you with indoor design and supply so that your indoor gardening dreams always become reality. Mention my name, Steve Green, for a special discount. Hydrovision Indoor Gardening Centers in Howell, Trenton, Richmond, Benton, and Belleville, one near you, or check out myhydrovision.com.
The Political Twist Up Radio Show.
So we're back in the studios in Royal Oak, Michigan.
Go Red Wings.
Go Red Wings. Hey, by the way, you a couple of wins yesterday for our Michigan teams. You can't complain about that.
That was a fantastic overtime win by the Red Wings last night to continue to keep their playoff hopes alive.
Moments left on the program. We are doing our Ask the Gardener segment. It's LJ from Advanced Nutrients. Alicia's with us on the phone. Had a question with regards to CO2 production of medical marijuana. Go ahead and fire it real quick again, Alicia, about the CO2 question.
Well, my question was, I've just had a lot of people tell me that it can produce more.
Oh, we lost LJ's. LJ's. I can see him on the phone. He's like, oh, keep asking. Did we lose Alicia too? It looks like we did. That's okay.
Alicia, are you still there?
No, we lost both of them, it looks like. I think he was trying to connect them together. It must have been a button faux pas. That's okay. That's okay. Stand by. We'll get them back on. People have a lot
I'm on.
There we go. So,
the question is about CO2 production and boosting production.
because I don't know if we're going to get Alicia back now.
On an indoor grow.
No, and I heard the question, and that's a good one. Alicia, CO2 will absolutely enhance production. It will absolutely enhance yield. It raises the plant's sensitivity to light, therefore, making the light go farther, making the plant produce harder underneath those lights. There are a lot of considerations, though, as to setting it up.
Now, a lot of people want to know it's kind of expensive to do the CO2 production, to add the CO2 to the mix. And so people generally have the question, is it going to be worth the investment? And every time I've asked that question myself, the answer has always been yes. Has there ever been an answer to no?
Yeah. I mean, it's a 30% increase generally, if all the other factors are met. Remember that when you close your environment entirely, you have a lot more humidity in the room. And you have, you've got to take precautions in order to CO2. It's not just adding CO2 because let's say you're air cooling your room using fans to pull cold air into the room and exhaust the heated air out. You're going to launch the CO2 out of the room that way too. You're going to be expelling it all right out the side of the building, if you will. Right. So you've got to have a completely closed environment, air conditioning, and generally a dehumidifier depending on your area.
But you also have to make sure you're providing the plant all of the ingredients it needs to take advantage of the CO2 from proper nutrients and from proper supplements, just like Advanced specializes in.
Alicia, he just said that adding CO2, we got her back on the phone. He said that adding CO2 to your mix should increase your yield by as much as 30% if you do it right.
Nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of other precautions as far as you need to control the atmosphere at that point. If you're air cooling your room, you have to close it off. A lot of guys will air cool, and then they'll have like a computer that will inject CO2 while the fans aren't running, and then, when the fans kick on, it'll automatically turn off the CO2 burner or tanks. But this is, not very efficient because no telling when those fans are going to kick on, and CO2 is being exhausted regularly, and CO2 also costs a lot of heat to make. Generally, a burner needs to be mounted 18 inches from every surface for fear that it might spark up the walls.
You don't want to catch anything on fire until later.
Advanced Anhydro Innovations made a water-cooled CO2 burner that was incredible for this. Removes 90% of the heat. You get all the benefit of the CO2 with basically none of the heat.
The water-cooled CO2 burner, that's fantastic.
Alicia, did we answer your question?
Really
yep.
Did we get your question answered, Alicia?
Absolutely. That was wonderful, LJ. It was great talking to you, and that was a lot of help. I appreciate it. You guys have a great day.
Make sure you control your atmosphere, Alicia. You want to get, split unit ACs are the best for what we're doing, the indoor growing. They're the most efficient. They're also one of the easiest to install. Aura makes one with pre-charged lines, so you don't have to have an HVAC gentleman into your house. You can just install it yourself.
Sweet.
But just remember that with CO2 comes an entirely closed atmosphere, which means that you've got to control it entirely on your own. Meaning,
Absolutely, that's no problem. I've had people tell me that I do a good job of that. So
Thanks, Alicia, so much for your call.
fantastic. And use the advanced nutrients.
Yes, absolutely. That always helps.
Well, give it a look. Thanks.
Right on. You have a great day, hon.
Another question on the.
Bye, you guys too.
Thanks.
Bye now. Another question from Eric. Eric in Flint. You're on with LJ from Advanced Nutrients. Ask the gardener.
Hey,
How are you, Eric?
Hey, good. Is it is using soil and hydroponics together? Is that kind of a new thing coming out now in the future?
You know, I've seen guys doing some stuff like that, like soil-based systems that are kind of like ebb flow. They flood and drain soil. For me personally, I think it's really messy. You know, I kind of lean towards one or the other. I'm having a lot of success with the Sunshine, like Pro Mix and Sunshine Mix number 4 type of thing. I find that they're really agreeable with our nutrients. Very aggressive growth. I've gotten up to 1 1/4 a light off 600s without CO2. So just a really real performer.
Right, I was kind of thinking the same thing too. That would be kind of messy, a lot of hassle there.
Messy.
What about LCD lights?
lines.
Yeah, the filtration is an issue with the water supply, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to be clogging up all your plumbing lines. I mean, that leads to floods, and depending on the situation that you're in, you know, floods lead to knocks on the door and cats out of the bag, and you know what I mean? So you want to be careful when you're doing hydroponics and residential situations and whatnot. Like, you probably want to take every precaution to not clog any lines, you know what I mean?
Stick with proven technology then, yes.
So get rid of the dirt.
Right, especially for a beginner probably too, right?
Absolutely.
Well, dirt's wonderful by itself. I mean, there's nothing more forgiving and or consistent than dirt, as well as the flavor and the smell enhancement are really exceptional. I mean, when you start to go into hydro, I feel that it's particularly like an OG Kush, you're going to lose something as far as the flavor and the smell, and it takes like a product, like a Nirvana is incredible for that. Like, it makes smells and aroma, you know, just tremendous inside of the plant. But essentially when you're in hydro, it's almost like you want to add something to bring that back. Also in things like aeroponics or undercurrents, let's say, if you have something break, like a pump or something go wrong to where those plants are getting drowned or not getting enough water, you can lose that grow in as little as 12 hours. I've seen soil where the plant looked like it's just an inch from death. You throw a cup of water at it, and an hour later it's just, you know, like right back, like nothing ever happened. So first time I saw it, I didn't actually try soil, but I was like 3-4 years in, and I just stood there with my jaw dropped that they would actually come back from that.
Eric, are you doing?
I would use the arrow where you screw up and it's over. You know what I mean?
Are you doing air? Are you
amazing?
Eric, are you doing soil? Or are you doing hydroponic? Or are you actually trying to mix the two?
You know, I've always done soil so far, but I've been thinking about going to hydroponic, but then I've recently seen someone discuss something about combining the two together, and someone tried to show me a fancy setup where you could do both together, and I was like, I don't know about that. It seems kind of messy.
Couple minutes left on the program, Eric. Did we get your question answered?